So I've worked with over 140 marketing agencies, some making 7 figures, some making 8 figures, which is over $10 million every year. And in this video, I'll be sharing the 5 common traits that every single one of these agency owners who are making above $100,000 per month had, so that you can take it, implement it into your business and just speed run the path to get in there. So step 1 is to get healthy. So this may come across as some arbitrary weird point to mention in a video on how to grow an agency to 100,000 per month, but in reality it is the case. So to tell you a quick story, I was recently at a mastermind event where I paid a nice $25,000 to join, and what I noticed was every single person there, with the exception to like 1 or 2 people, they were all in great shape. And all of these people were making at minimum around 30K per month, but most of them in the size of around 100,000 to 300,000 every single month. And at first I thought this was just like some coincidence, but then it clicked. You know, all the influencers who I used to follow who are, genuine business owners, not the ones who just talk about it, the ones who had genuine big businesses, I'm talking 8 figures, 9 figures, up to even 10 figures that I'd follow online and read about, surprisingly, a majority of them were in great shape. And I'm not referring to just being like 5% body fat and jacked. It's more so the idea that as entrepreneurs, we are working all day, most of us. And very often the differentiator between who's going to succeed and who's not going to succeed is the amount of work and output that they can do. And also the decisions that they make. Because if you think about it, if you're at 100,000 per month, you have a team doing everything, and one decision can literally make you an extra 100,000 every month, like let's say starting a mastermind or implementing a new product line or implementing some other thing, or making a hire. If one decision can do that, you get paid on your decision making. So you would think that the person who is hungover from eating Cheerios all day and getting 1 hour of sleep after drinking, they're probably not gonna make a better decision than someone who is, you know, well rested, he's in great shape, he's eating clean, healthy food. So what I've seen is that the entrepreneurs who are doing extremely well, they see being healthy as a competitive advantage. They prioritize things like getting good sleep, they wear things like an Oura ring, they eat clean foods, they maybe reduce carbs throughout the day and only eat it in the evening so that they have more energy when they're working. And you're obviously going to see some exceptions if you look at these people who eat like donuts in the first thing in the morning, but the majority, if you think about it, I don't see any detriment to being healthier. I don't think you're going to succeed slower or get less done by being in better shape. Now, step 2 is around optimizing your environment. So shameless plug, in my program right now, we have something called an intro post. So whenever someone joins, they actually post a picture of their workspace. And this is just the first step to, introducing them to the group, helping them get accountable. Usually they do their posts, they join the coaching calls, all of that. But one thing that I would see is some of our clients who are just starting out, like they've literally never done anything before, but some are at 100, 150, even 200,000 per month. And what I've noticed is that the clients who are bigger up actually had like a cleaner environment. And when I say cleaner, I mean it just looked aesthetically nicer, right? It wasn't that they just like scrubbed the table more. It's like the lighting was good, the desk looked nice, the chair looked comfortable, they had like a plant or a picture of their family, like all these things. And at first I was like, okay, who cares about this? Like I'll get work done in a dungeon if I need to. But then you realize that a lot of these entrepreneurs, they always talk about loving what they do. And at first I used to think this is some like woo-woo fluffy thing that people just said and they didn't really mean it. But in reality, a lot of to do with loving work is actually just loving working, like the environment that you're in. Because if you think about it, if you're in some uncomfortable like kitchen chair that doesn't have a back on it and the table stinks and there's like dishes right next to you and it's just a horrible environment, who's gonna wanna work there? And then by extension, you're gonna say that you hate your work. You're gonna say that you hate working on your business. But in reality, you just hate working in that dungeon that you have. So the biggest entrepreneurs that I see, they actually put time and invest into their environments, their setups. And because of that, it just creates this loop of positive reinforcement where you do work. Let's say you're doing sales calls, you're in a nice spot, you sign some clients, you make money, you're happy, and you reinvest back into the environment. And I've seen the exact same effect. And some of these purchases that really helped me was, firstly, just moving into my own apartment. I think that's the biggest thing. If you don't have people ask you to like take the laundry out or do the dishes or all of that, that's just gonna boost everything. But the next thing was just getting the best laptop, having the fastest device, having a comfortable chair. All of these things add up and they just make you wanna work more. Now, step 3 is accountability. So when I was first starting out, I used to devour free information. I would watch every single YouTube video that I could find on the best acquisition method, the best cold email script, all of this, and I would just burn hours. And the worst part is at the end of this YouTube binge, I wouldn't be any further ahead than I was before. If anything, I was worse off because I just felt scattered and overwhelmed because everyone was saying cold email's dead and the other guy's saying cold email's the best thing ever. It's terrible. So what I realized was every single successful person that I know, and especially our clients making 7, 8 figures, is they always are learning from someone. They all have mentors, they all have coaching, and they all have some sort of accountability. And what I've seen with our big clients is that as you get bigger, your team becomes a big degree of your accountability, right? This is when you have actual executives, actual managers that you are speaking to every day. But when you're starting out, when you're still between 0 and probably even 100,000 per month, you can get by with just a couple of VAs and maybe 1 or 2 team members. But your accountability is external. So in the program right now, we have a group where people can interact, they actually motivate each other, they keep each other accountable. We join calls every single week to make sure that I can speak to them, give them feedback, just help them keep going. And it's just imagine if you know exactly what to do step by step and you can just copy paste a proven system into your agency and get results, the only thing stopping you is just doing it, right? And that's where accountability comes in. You need the motivation, you need some sort of group, you need some sort of feedback, even just someone to talk to so that you know that okay, this is the right thing, I'm in the right spot, speak through your decisions, and just make sure you're taking action. And this is exactly why we created our program now, where we, again, like I was saying, we just give you what's worked for over 100 agencies that they've literally just copy and pasted to get results. But we also have this group with weekly calls with myself to just make sure you're making progress every week and you're taking action. Imagine you had me just shouting at you every week to just make sure that everything's happening. So if you want more info on that to see if you're a fit, you can just book a time using the link below and it'll be with myself, and we can just see if everything makes sense. Now, the fourth point is that all of these big agency owners, they're all leveraged. So what this means is, a quick example is, whenever I'd sign a client and they were making above, let's say 150,000 per month, every single time I would speak to the founder or maybe this chief operating officer, and they would sign, they would pay on the call, they'd sign up. But then throughout the entire process, they had their team do the program, right? They would literally have someone on their team who was more like a junior marketing person or maybe the marketing director, and they would follow the program. And they would talk to myself and my team to just make sure everything's implemented. And what I realized was these people are so high up that they don't even need to go through this material. Someone else can learn on behalf of them, implement on behalf of them, and make progress without the founder having to do anything. And this is what I mean by leverage, because imagine that you can buy programs for your team, they take action, they get results, and you don't even have to do anything. And then the speed at which you can move isn't just you now, it's you with your educated team member. So now you have 2 people pushing forward. And this is why, when these clients that I see, they get from 50 to 100K, they just end up in a couple months at 200K or 300K, assuming the delivery is in place. So when you're starting out, you're fighting for every single booking you can get, and maybe you sign a client and it's just a struggle. But the more leverage you get, the more exponential your growth curve becomes. And then finally, every agency at this point that we've worked with, and that's why they work with us, is for a scalable acquisition system. Now, they could probably get to maybe 10, 50,000 with just referrals because they're good at what they do. But beyond that, they just need a system. They need to know that if they click a button, they're going to get bookings every single day. They need to know that they're going to get clients every single week, if not every single day. And they need to know that their revenue isn't just going to jump up and down like most agencies do. It's going to be a consistent increase, right? So again, we literally just give them what works based on their niche, and they just go from there. But every single person, every single agency owner, they need this, right? It's the only way to predictably scale. So if you're not growing as fast as you need, just look at your calendar and just ask yourself, do I have a system to book 4 to 8 calls per day? Do I have a way to close 20 to 30% of my clients? Do I have a way to close 20 to 30% of prospects? And can I predict this? Not just for the next couple of days, but for the next couple of months, because you need to know these things. So again, if you want either the accountability, the motivation to just do what you know you need to do, or you just want exactly what to do, or both, just book a time using the link below and we can see if there's a fit.